I am not convinced on how good Misfortune and Victor are going to look in this game, considering how oversteppy both teams were in the previous game, and these two champions can be punished really badly for that.
It's a surprisingly good bit to sustain that on the Rakan in the laning phase. Away, shove bot side allows a potential roam. Double knock-up from Obstinatus buys a bit of a time here as Velia also takes a turret shot and needs to begin to back away, but look who's roaming down. There's the Malphite, there's the Victor. They are indeed assembling. Dun dun dun! Senkux looks for that Siphon power, looks for the auto, can't quite find it, but gets the gravity field slow. And the final empowered order comes on down as Reckless is waddling around without a horse, and unfortunately, the big tree will be helping donate another kill over towards the Victor, who helps claim the feats of warfare as well towards Verdant. They just need a turret.
Funnily enough, we kept singing the praises of Shiganari for Verdant, and rightfully so, as I'm going to hold on to this. They're diving Crowny here.
We'll try and find a way out, but heavy is the Crowny, and unfortunately not heavy enough to fly out to safety there, even on a cool spaceship courtesy of Crowny. I suppose it's a nice toboggan in this game, but the point still stands. Across all time, Shiganari's played a lot of Misfortune. This will be his 16th game. Something like a 70% win rate on it, just shy. And this is looking pretty good for him so far. We can turn it into something a little bit more, of course, all the while. Los Ratones do manage to stabilize a little, pick up a dragon, and it has found a roam timer, though, Georgia. And I think this Aatrox might now be in a spot of bother. Flash for the perfect execution. R2 is available and doesn't even need to burn it, just uses the Q instead.
Until you have that rocket belt, then you're actually a champion on Akali. As right here, Verdant, they're trying to commit towards those void grubs. They call Velia.
Just to drag himself back out with the press of the E button. Velia now backs into the pit. They get the Maokai route down on a couple of people, but not to a huge avail. Teron, though, no ult, still in the pit. Gonna back away. They'll take the single grub and extract, not willing to stick around and fight, especially with Corki nowhere near. Been a 4v3, I believe, as both AD carries not on the board there. So they'll give over 2 of the grubs, but not the full set. But still a marker towards the objective feat of strength, though, I will note. Baus, a good defensive counterplay, bot side into a good aggressive play just after. They would like to start keeping that up, though, as Reckless finding a re-engage onto Shiganari. Flashes away, but Nemesis looking to come on over, looking for the perfect execution. A bomber! Out comes the explosive cask and drinks Misfortune under the table.
That is indeed the perfect execution right there. Really does need to reset right here, but I'm not quite sure that he does have anything worthy of buying right now, as Baus is going to continue proxying the wave. This is the time where Terran needs to actually head back to his tower, because the wave is going to be incoming.
Oh, doesn't quite get cast back towards him, but the flash body slam! And Baus finds the solo, drinks another one under the table. This man is on a mission, and that mission is explosives.
Yeah, that was quite unfortunate right there. Of course, Theron doesn't feel like he can walk into this river with just a couple of components in his inventory. This is a 4 versus 5. Verdant are literally stuck on spectator mode. You can't walk into the river. You can't take the fight. You can't push the mid lane tower. They need to figure out another way of playing around those neutral objectives.
Speaking of,
I was about to say, hold up. Have you jinxed it? Oh, there we go.
Flashes one, can't flash the rest. Over comes Teron, a flash on out to safety. Turret shot's tagged by a Reckless, but Teron can turn up and, I don't know, wave goodbye to his AD carry. About all he gets to do there.
From Noodle's jungle. And Verdant are taking whatever's left on the map, which is not the worst case scenario right here. Taking that Wraith Herald, you could potentially look to open side lanes or that mid lane to try and catch anyone trying to shove in that wave a little bit too far. However, Verdant
force their way into river. TP behind, though. We're going, and in comes the Baus. Looking to get on top of Shiganari, but of course, he's got Struck to work with right now. Baus goes looking for it. Finds the explosive cask onto Senko. He's managed to back away, but Nemesis in the backside. Finishes what his partner in solo lane started. Does kind of get caught up by Noodle, though. Will get traded. Value a little bit split off himself. Looks to get on top of Senko. Throws down the gravity field. In comes the grand entrance. Senko's doing his best to stay alive. Gets another Cypher power. Flash for the auto. Can't quite get it. As Obstinatus trying to bounce around. Terra looking in. Gets another flag and drag. Will finally bring down the Rakan, but importantly, Senko does survive. Ends up being a 2 for 2. Jungler dead, though, for Los Ratones. I'll note Verdant's health bars, not fantastic.
Like Misfortune or any type of AD carry that doesn't move very easily. As I'm going to hold on to that thought because Akali's coming back in, and that's a 4 versus 4.
Do the 4 versus 4. Dragon, of course, being fought with no smite. Out comes the bullet time. Shiganari.
Not again! Not again!
Flip. Here comes the Storm Surge and that 5-point strike. Crowny now training up with Sango's got nowhere to go. Verdant Noodle are going to have to flash out the back, as is Tyrant. They get out with the dragon, but they lose 2 for the price. But they are definitely not playing scared of Los Ratones. Let's say that.
I mean, they've got the damage, right? And they've got the items. Noodle has gone for the double aggro item onto Maokai as well. The double burn aggro item onto the Maokai, and he's actually the only one who's on 2 items right now. Hold up. Obstinatus, and he's gone.
Get something back. They lose Obstinatus. Reckless now in a bit of danger. Taught on the wrong side of the gravity field, so it will be a trade of support. On the other side, though, Tayron gets jumped on. Damage back, but here comes the healing. The bullet time is good enough to force Nemesis to R2 away. There's no D2 players in this game, though. They're all a little higher in the ranks than that. Jump onto Noodle, gets a Bramble smash back, but Baus throws out a cask and brings down the tree anyway. Lumberjack via explosives.
Go in and not allow Akali to play onto this backline. It could potentially be the key to victory. And right here, Akali doesn't have ult. Doesn't matter. Arakan's already gone.
And take it before Verdant can come and try and use the 2 items they've largely picked up.
But they have to always keep their eye on Nemesis, right? They've got a couple of wards behind them. They've got 2 control wards, if I'm not wrong. And they're trying to play with their back against that mid lane. But this is where Baus comes from. Nemesis is now through the jungle. The other side is full of Los Ratones members.
Oh, there comes the Cataclysm, and down goes Corki, though. That's not bad work. Bullet time is solid. Finds a lot of damage on Devillia. Has to flash away. Baus split up from the team. Terran beginning to jump at him. Just gets a body slam over the wall.
Yeah, and Terran is actually keeping Baus in check, at least for the time being. Doesn't want to let him in. There are a few low HP bars right here. Nemesis and Baus are playing with them.
Ask away, but they can look to try and catch him out as the Make It Rain comes on down.
Verdant focused all their efforts onto getting one member. That one member was Crowny. And that was a 4 versus 5 instantly in favor of Verdant.
Noodle just died, and guess what spawned about a minute ago? It is Baron.
Yeah, Baus does not have TP. Just gets his level 16 and starts walking towards the objective. The TP coming through from Tayron.
Try and play this around again. No smites. It will be a 4v5. Tayron trying to play this one out regardless. Nemesis still in the Twilight Shroud, looking for an angle. Into the backline they go with the quickness. Trying to buy some time. Nemesis continuing to threaten. They've got the mid-tier 1 to work around still. And Crowny kills off Senkux. In comes the Cataclysm. The bullet time to try and stand and deliver. As Shigenari tries to draw the guns at noon. But it's a final hour in this game. Tayron tries to jump on forwards, but will die. Regardless, World Ender unfortunately apt for Verdant's team fight.
Trying to get a little bit of intel on what's going on. We all know what's going on. I think they know what's going on as well.
Apparently, it's getting the Baron as Obstinatus hops back over the wall. Doesn't have anyone to battle down to quite yet. There is Sunkux in that top lane, so should be able to get there out to safety well enough. But that is a break point. The gold lead balloons again.
They're going to look for the last... I was about to say the last dragon now. For some reason, I thought they had 3. They have 2. It's going to be sole point for them. They're trying to take again. What they've been doing so well this game is entering the...
What?
Where did my Victor go?
He decided that he was going to go to the Shadow Realm. He's playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Now rather than League of Legends. And Baus has decided to help him. Exactly. There are no weak players in my grandpa's team, but currently there is a dead Senkux.
Yeah. Los Ratones, 3 waves pushing towards your base. Crowny and Reckless around that mid lane. You've got Nemesis and Velia over on the bot side of the map. This is going to be 2 outer towers taken straight away from the side of Los Ratones. Playing against the tanked Gragas. You're playing against Baus's Gragas. Talking about it, though. Okay.
Trying to catch him off. They go for the bush bait on the other side of the map where the dragon is. Good dash away. The strut is enough. Misfortune on the catwalk, mid-team.
There are summoner spells on Shigenari and Senkux. So this is not going to be as easy to get to the backline.
Nemesis currently taking Raptors. Are they going to give up this dragon? Maybe they don't want this play. I think it is gone. No way for Velia to get over from where he is. They'll throw out the Maokai ult, trying to punish them as they're in the wrong side of the jungle of Los Ratones. Managed to back away far enough to not get hit by the Nature's Grass. Why? Nemesis has got onto an inhibitor turret. How has this happened?
Well, the entire time that Verdant, as Obstinatus has been left for dead behind, so we're gonna ignore that. The entire time that Verdant were actually focusing on getting the dragon, the entire Los Ratones was already on the bulk quadrant of Noodle's jungle. So they had taken complete control, complete vision. They had already pushed down the waves their way by Los Ratones and smite that dragon. There is a chance for a comeback.
Well, we said it was looking like that coming into that soul point fight, and they still managed to fight it. It's still not been perfect, of course, because they ended up taking a lot of structural damage from it. Honestly, probably critical structural damage. An inhibitor in mid lane, and at least the inhibitor turret in bot. Fastest
no. Not there, not like that.
The high street stores are back in business, and Baus is looking to bring him down. Senkuk stays alive for a second or two, gets cast, looking to stay alive for a moment more, and that is it. Baus with the bush special. He learns from his former Fnatic companions there, who teach him the ways of their former team.
Yeah, in his face, and I don't think there is much fight right here for Verdant to try and take that step forward, I guess, to get anywhere near Baron.
Yeah, it's not happening, is it? They're going to lose the Baron. There'll be a reset coming on through. There's a minute and a half until Dragon, which you know Los Ratones will then be able to play for. But you can already see that Verdant is saying, screw it. We're getting as many wards down as we can in the enemy jungle. We want to make sure that we can try and contest this Dragon in some way, shape, or form. Problem is that Los Ratones said, fine, we're going to push this top side and try and at least get that turret before we reset and get even more gold in our back pockets.
And that's what's very scary right now. This Baron buff is going to last for as long. Everything has been swept from Los Ratones as well. That was inside their jungle. Very, very clever right there from the side of LR. And Obsnaps trying to get a knockup,
Here we go.
but...
There's that Magnet Storm, but indeed, it's looking like that might be a very aggressive form of that connective. Noodle gets cast away, stays alive for a second. Senkux does not. Belly on the backside, Nemesis with the perfect execution, part 2. And unfortunately for Verdant, game 2 is looking like a done deal in favor of Los Ratones. They care not for the Dragon. They care for the end of the game. Baus will teleport down to the inhibitor in bot lane, and they will run these Baron-empowered minions straight to the Nexus, and a win in game 2.
A little bit of a longer game right here. A classic Los Ratones early game that brought us all the way here. But this is going to be match point for Los Ratones. One more.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.